Okay, so now we are moving into, I'm going to give you guys an introduction to solving equations with rational coefficients. And I have a picture of the dude from The Big Lebowski up there looking a little confused because I know that if I saw something that said rational coefficients, I might be thinking a number of things like, well, what's an irrational coefficient or what's a coefficient? So let's talk about what a coefficient is first, and then we'll talk about what they mean by the word rational. So a coefficient, and it comes from the word from the beginning and co usually means like with something, right? So a coefficient is a term that they use in algebra to always describe the number that is in front of the variable that it looks like it's stuck to. So in 2x, your coefficient would be 2. In the term 5y, your coefficient is going to be your 5. And then x would be your variable, same as your y. So your coefficient is the number, and the variable is the letter. So think of that. If you think of coefficient, it's the number that always goes with the variable, like right next to it, like they look like they're stuck together. Okay, so in a case like this, 2x, 2 would be your coefficient, right? If you have 2 plus x, 2 is not your coefficient for this one. In that case, and this brings up an example, when you have anything that's just like x, y, or a, or anything like that, you always have a coefficient of 1. They just don't write the 1 all the time because it gets kind of lame doing that. So that's what they mean by a coefficient. Now let's talk about what they mean by rational, and I'm gonna clear this page a little bit. So when they're talking about a rational, anything that's rational, pretty much what they mean, I'm almost done here, all right? Pretty much what they mean is anything that falls in the number family. So you're used to seeing things like this 2 or like this 5, but it could also be 1/2 x because that's a number. It's a number a lot of people don't like to deal with because it's a fraction, but it's a number. It could be, -3/7 y. That would work. It can be positive, negative numbers. They can be integers. They can be fractions. And they can also include something like this 2.7b, where 2.7 is a rational number. It's a decimal, but it's a rational number. It could even be 1.999x, and that would be your coefficient. It's an ugly coefficient, not fun to work with, but it's a rational number. So that's what they mean when they talk about a rational coefficient, is any kind of number that comes before a variable. All right? And it's basically, I guess the next thing I would ask is, well, how is this different from a normal coefficient? How is something like that different from it? And so I guess the answer for that, and I'll say, is there a difference? And the answer is not really. But when you solve something that's, 2/3 x equals something as opposed to 2x equals something, there's a slightly different approach we're going to take to those. And so those are going to be the subjects of the next videos coming up. So I just wanted to explain what we mean when we talk about rational coefficient. And so pretty much in this lesson, you're going to be learning how to deal with fractions and decimals.